What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on in. It's One TS Daily right here at One True Sport. I'm your host, Zack Heydorn, Brass Ring Media. What's going on? Hopefully, everybody had a wonderful weekend, stocked full of professional wrestling and pro wrestling news. And that's what we do here on the show. We just get you caught up and give you a place to sound off on everything that's happened over the weekend. So, big show today. It is October 7th. It's Monday. Happy Monday. Hopefully everybody's week is starting off great. I am starting off on the road. On the road again. Monday morning. Usually it's Tuesday that's on the road. But hey, sometimes schedules are made to be broken. And that is the situation with me today. So I'm back in an office downtown Chicago. It's a little cold out there, but which is why we're inside today. But hopefully, maybe next week or something later this week, we can be outside again for these remote shows. But thanks so much for being here. If you're listening on YouTube, thank you. Thanks for hitting play. Thanks for joining us. If you can hit like on that video just right now, just do it while you're here. Just hit like. It helps us out big time. Grow the channel and grow our audience and get the show in front of new eyes. If you're watching on Twitter, hello. And if you're a One True Sport member and you've hit play on this as an audio podcast, thanks so much for your membership. Thanks for hitting play. If you're interested in One True Sport membership, head over to onetruesport.com. That is like our hub for all things One True Sport. You can check out all of our membership options there and all the different tiers that we have, all of which include access to some very big pro wrestling stars: Arn Anderson, Medusa, Kurt Angle, RVD right there. We got One TS Daily shirts. We've got One TS Daily hats. Lots of cool stuff for the show, so you can rep your favorite daily pro wrestling show. I have the live chat open. We already have some folks in there. We've got Sean in the chat. We've got Amy in the chat. Sean says here, what's up, everyone? 2-hour Raw tonight. Let's go. That's crazy. I can't believe it. It sounds so weird to say 2-hour Raw, but alas, it is. Sean also says, Zach, congrats on your new gig, my friend. Thank you, Sean. Yes, this morning I was able to announce I'll be writing for Sports Illustrated when it comes to all things pro wrestling. I'll be joining their pro wrestling team and doing some writing on a weekly, daily basis for them. So super pumped for that. Check out the work there. Sports Illustrated, pro wrestling. You guys will like what we're building there, and hopefully you follow me there too. Amy is in the chat. Amy says Zach is on the move today. Yeah, right. I mean, already Monday morning in the office. Wild. But Amy, hopefully you have a good Monday. Thanks so much for being here. And yes, thank you. Appreciate that. Amy says congratulations. Thanks so much, you guys. But this show goes on. Can you believe that we've already done close to 90 episodes of One TS Daily, which is just insane. 90 episodes you guys have been here with me, and I certainly appreciate that. But let's get to it. Let's get down to some business here. Let's start talking pro wrestling. The Rock returns to WWE at the end of Bad Blood. He doesn't do much. He pretty much walks out. A huge pop. Like, look at that audience as they're like in the background as they hit Rock's music. I mean, they go pretty crazy to see the final boss. And The Rock walks out. He kind of stares down Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Jimmy Uso, who were in the ring. We'll get to that match in a little bit. And then he just holds up his hand, counts to 1, 2, 3. Now, 3. What does that mean? I mean, and that's the interesting part of all this. Like, what is he going for there? Is he talking to Cody Rhodes and reminding Cody that Rock beat him? Because Rock did beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40 in the tag team match that they had on night 1. Is he talking about Roman Reigns Is he counting 3 to Roman Reigns in an effort to kind of needle him about losing the championship to Cody Rhodes on night 2 of WrestleMania 40? That could be a possibility. We just don't know like what the situation with Rock is going to be. I think it's clear though that, well, let me take a step back. In a social media post, Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa had run away from the attack that Roman and Cody were giving them, along with Jimmy. And you can overhear Solo say to Jacob Fatu in that that moment that they're filming that, hey, this is part of the plan. This is all part of the plan. And that, of course, leads you to believe that The Rock is the one pulling the strings behind Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu and that new bloodline faction, which makes all the sense in the world that he'd be the guy to do that, right? That he'd be the guy that is going to try to take over the mantle of the tribal chief because Roman Reigns lost the championship, right? I think that makes perfect sense. The question that I have is, if that's the case, I question that bloodline faction losing this match to Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. It's like the thing that faction has lacked since its inception is credibility, is believability, in truly believing that they're a danger, that they're a threat to Roman, that they're a threat to Cody. And so far, they just haven't been presented as that. I mean, they've had their moments where they're kind of scary and they're kind of, unhinged, especially with the addition of Jacob Fatu. I think that helps a lot because he plays that character so well. But Solo in particular is really flat in that regard. And, and because of that, he's gotten beat. He's gotten beaten by Cody twice. He's gotten outclassed by Roman on multiple occasions. And now they lose again when it comes time to have a big tag team match. So, it's going to be interesting to see like how because look, Rock's not coming in to just be nobody, right? Like he's going to be a top guy. He's going to be, an absolute threat to both Cody and to Roman. So you think you'd want, if he's going to be in charge of this new bloodline faction, you'd think you'd want him and them to have some, oomph behind it, and to have Rock's leadership like actually matter and actually mean something. And so far it hasn't. So we'll have to see like where they're going to go with all this, and what the end game is for Rock, for Roman, and for Cody Rhodes, because they still have unfinished business with Cody and Roman too. That they've been playing up throughout their partnership here against the bloodline. So there's a lot of intricate details here. I wonder how many matches The Rock has left, and let me know in the comments what you guys think. Like, if book The Rock. Well, let's have some fun and do that right now. Like, let's book The Rock from now until WrestleMania. Like, what's Rock doing at WrestleMania? In my mind, he's wrestling Roman Reigns. Like, I don't think you want to wait on that match anymore. Like, The Rock's getting older. Roman Reigns' appearances are less and less, because of how popular he is and how long he's been in the company, and just what his tenure is in WWE right now. You're not going to get him for as long as you would have earlier, and who knows what The Rock has coming up. If he lands a big movie franchise or something, like, it all fizzles away. So you got to go with that match. So I think if that's WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, right? Um, then I think I would do Cody Rhodes and The Rock at like WrestleMania or something. Um, or not WrestleMania, sorry, the Royal Rumble or something to that effect. Another major, stadium show that they're going to do. They're running, the Indianapolis market for Royal Rumble. I think that's a pretty good time to have that match. But you got to have it. You got to do that one too. So that'd be the other match that I go to. The question that I have is, can you get to or agree to put The Rock inside War Games with this new faction? So can you do old bloodline with Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy, and Sammy against Rock, Solo, Jacob Fatu, and one of the other guys? Like that'd be cool to see Rock in there. And honestly, like I know it's War Games, and so like it's a bit of a physical match, obviously, but you can kind of hide Rock away in a match like that too. Like, yeah, you have to take some bumps, but it's a heavy like brawling kind of match, and you could save all the movement and the bumping and the spots to the other people, and he could kind of have like an easier day at the office than like a singles match. So I wonder if they can get Rock out of Hollywood to do that, because I think that'd be a really cool, like it'd be cool to do War Games Civil War anyway, but it'd be cool to have Rock a part of that if they can heat it up, if they can heat it up fast enough. So we'll see. But Rock's back in the fold, and that always is good for WWE. Like business booms when he's involved, or at least when he's been involved. Let's get to the chat here. Let's see. Let's go to Sean says here, that's a good point. I think Roman losing in a way wouldn't have been a terrible thing. Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, I think in certain circumstances it would have. But if you have Rock there and Rock's pulling the strings, yeah, I think it would have made sense for Rock to cost Roman the match, like and put his chips with, this new bloodline faction that he's been leading. So yes, I agree, Sean. Andrew, though, says realistically, though, there's no way they're going to have Roman lose his return, tag match or not. Yeah, I mean, that's what played out, right? You wanted to give him the big win. I just think long term storyline wise, they would have been better off not doing that and giving that new bloodline faction something. It needs something. It has needed something, and they had a chance to give it to them here, but they really didn't. Thanks, Andrew. Andrew also says, though, Rock Roman is the box office. Clearly, Roman is a bigger star than Cody as well. Came out second, had a better entrance than Cody in Atlanta. I mean, yeah, there's no question. Like, Roman's the biggest star the company has. So, um, in a tag team situation, I think in his return match, that's going to happen. I mean, the challenge for WWE and for Paul Levesque is like, you've got to present both those guys as equals, even if they're not fundamentally. Like on the show, they are, and it's important to keep that up. So yes, you're right, but they got to work at it. They got to work to keep Cody, in a top tier position, right next to Roman. All right, let's talk about the show itself. Bad Blood. I thought it had its ups and downs, more downs than ups. When it was all said and done, and they started things off with the Hell in a Cell match, Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. This match was excellent. I thought it was the best Hell in a Cell match in the last 10 or so years. It was violent, but it wasn't like, what I liked most about it was that it wasn't spotty violence for the most part. What I mean by that is like contrived spots inside Hell in a Cell. This was a fight. It felt genuine. Like instead of those like spotty kind of violence portions of the match, you had them just punching each other in the face. You had them using, steel tools on the other, not in a gimmicky way, but just I'm going to just hit you with this. The blood played. I mean, it really just showcased how much these guys hated each other. It made the match dramatic. I could have done without the beads. I could have done without that. I thought that kind of watered down the seriousness of the other weaponry that was in the match because it's just like toy beads. Um, but at the same time, it did put a bow on the whole story, like collectively. Like whether you liked the story of the bracelet or not, I didn't, but it did like kind of symbolize. It was symbolic, as far as the feud goes. And in the end, I thought that they put it all on the line. I thought it was exactly what they needed to do. It not only worked well to put a definitive end to Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, but but it worked to repair Hell in a Cell. Like, and it that gimmick needs repairing. And I thought Punk and Drew did a really nice job with that. I'm curious to see what they do tonight on Raw to kind of put a bow on everything. Do you get like some respect from Drew to Punk? Like, do you get that element? Is that going to be something that they add in? I don't know. We'll see. And you know the the future for Drew McIntyre, I think, is more cloudy. Not that he's going to be leaving WWE or anything, but like who he works with next is more cloudy than Punk. With Punk, I think it's a good chance we're going to see him work with Gunther at some point. Drew, I don't know, so we'll see. We'll see what kind of direction they go. They go with this. Um, the boss is in the chat here saying, "Give Drew his flowers for this story." He he did a heck of a job carrying the feud while Punk was gone. Like when you think about this and the 10 months that it went on, Punk's only been back since August, right? It's early November. So so 2 months plus, that's 8 months where the heavy lifting on this is Drew McIntyre. And so of course he deserves his flowers. I mean, it's been a great feud for WWE. As Andrew says here, he's his best feud of the year for WWE. Drew should have won. Man, I don't know. I don't know, Andrew. I think I would have gone with Punk. Just the good guys got to win, like the feud in the end for these big long things, and I think Punk needed this win big time. So I would have gone with Punk. But yeah, feud of the year. I mean, I think inarguably. I mean, I guess you could say Roman and Cody too, but this certainly had more depth and more deep rooted hatred and history without question. From there, we got Nia Jax and Bayley. This was kind of a disaster. I mean, it had its moments, but I think like the moments of drama that the match had was because of like botched stuff, like botched spots. Like, oh, this didn't go right. What's going to happen now? Or that didn't go right. So what's going to happen now? You don't want your intrigue in your matches to be that. You want it to be about the actual match. You want it to be about the actual challenger trying to win or lose their title match. And this match didn't have that for me. The most exciting part of everything was when Tiffany Stratton ran down, and the story of the build to this match has been more like Tiffany and Nia related than it was Nia and Bayley. We talked about that Friday, and because of that, I just don't think that it had any juice. So Nia retains the title. It was a messy match. It was sloppy. They're building towards a Tiffany Stratton cash-in without question, but you don't really want your pay-per-view match, your pay-per-view title match, just being a playground for another feud, and that's really what this was. Andrew's in our chat going, the hate for Punk runs deep, like Emperor Palpatine. Wow, that is deep hatred for CM Punk. Goodness gracious. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Thanks for sharing, Andrew. All right, after that, we had Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. This was a good match. I thought this was good for where it was in the card. Not much to it. Pretty simple, right? The build was pretty simple. Priest getting his hands on Finn Balor. That's the story. And they played that story out in this match. They paid it off. Lots of action in this. But Damian Priest chased Finn Balor down, beat him up, and won the match. So easy peasy, pretty simple. And I think it worked really well for the middle of the card. Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan was up next. Dominic Mysterio hanging above a shark cage. The Liv's WWE Women's World Championship on the line. This to me was the most disappointing match on the show, and part of it, it wasn't the worst match on the show, but disappointing in the sense that I thought it had the elements of something really good, and I just don't think it clicked. And the finish was just an absolute disaster. Um, Dominic Mysterio in the shark cage, you know, what he was doing up there, like whilst the match was going on. He was like getting himself ready to do the spot where he falls from the cage and is hanging there. Um, but I thought that took away, because he was focused on that. I thought that took away of what he brought to the match in the shark cage. Like, he should have been selling being up there. Instead, he was just sitting there, and I didn't think that that worked. Um, I thought Rhea Ripley, like, completely abandoning her quest to win the world title back just to hit Dom a few times with a kendo stick. Like, really? Like, that made her look like a pretty silly baby face, especially when she didn't get the job done. And then the finish. I mean, Raquel Rodriguez. Like, did anybody in that building know who she was? Like, I don't think that they did. She was late to hit her mark, and then she, like, after the match was over, she put Liv Morgan like on top of Rhea, as if she was going to get a pin that way, even though the match had already ended, and then like pulled her off. It was just a really bizarre, just weird finish that I don't think, did the match justice at all. And like, to me, I'd be like, if I was Triple H, I'd be like rethinking Raquel Rodriguez getting involved in this. Like, yes, I think she and Rhea can have a good match, but there was no connection there with her and the audience. Just everything just kind of happened, and then it compounded itself by being a mess. So not good. And then the main event, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, as we talked about, they defeated Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. I thought it's a good match. A good match. I thought, Roman and Cody did a nice job partnering, but not being like overly lovey-dovey with the other, right? There was still, a little disdain there. There was trust, but also, trust with a caveat of a lack of trust, if you get what I'm saying. Like, it was there, but they also showed that they weren't sure. There was doubt. I thought that played well. And I just thought the action was good. I thought the hot tags were built well, executed well, and made for a good match. Again, I would have had the Bloodline go over, especially if you have The Rock here, but they didn't. And we'll see why that is in the coming weeks. But yeah, so overall, I kind of give the show a thumbs in the middle. I really liked the Hell in a Cell match. I thought that was a heck of a match, and a match that probably would have gone on last had it not been for The Rock. And so, I mean, when you have The Rock, when you do business with The Rock, he goes on last, and that's that. So that's Bad Blood. Let me know what you thought of the show in the comments. Would love to kind of get to those and read some of those later on after the fact. So yeah, drop them in there. Tonight we've got WWE Monday Night Raw, 2-hour Raw. Holy crap! It just doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel normal. It feels weird and bizarre, and I don't know that I like it. I mean, I do like it, but it's just a weird turn of events. Tonight, 3 big matches though on the show. We've really stocked this thing up. We've got Sami Zayn against Gunther for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Jey Uso is going to take on Xavier Woods for the IC title, and then Sheamus versus Pete Dunne in a Donnybrook brawl. So those are the 3 key matches on tonight's 2-hour show. Gunther and Sami is going to be, I think, the best match of the night. Look, I think Gunther's going to win this. At Bad Blood, they announced a major kind of clash at Crown Jewel in 4 weeks. They're going to crown like a Crown Jewel champion, where both world title holders from each brand, both women and men's, will collide, and the winner will win that new belt. There's a lot to break down there. We'll do so probably maybe tomorrow after Raw, after we hear more about it. But that's a strange little stipulation. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I mean, I think it's certainly going to make Crown Jewel more interesting, but it does put WWE in a pickle as to like how they book like some of their matches. I just I don't think they want Cody Rhodes versus Gunther. I think to headline that event. Um, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So I think Gunther obviously has to win the match tonight in order for that to be a reality. Um, Curious to see if we get more in terms of Xavier Woods and his heel turn, his descent to the dark side, if you will. I think that story's been well told so far, and this is a good opportunity with a really strong babyface in Jey Uso to do some work with that and to really start, you know, working to get over as a heel. Um, you're primed opportunity for that tonight with when you're working against Jey Uso. So we'll see what they do in that regard. And then of course, we got Pete Dunne and Sheamus. That's going to be a blast. It's going to be a heck of a brawl. That's about it. It's very much a TV brawl match. But hey, that's okay. That's the point. So I think it's going to be a pretty good match. I'm wondering, if we do hear about The Rock and like what his future schedule may look like, or if they promote him for this week's SmackDown. We'll be on the lookout for that during tonight's show as well. So we'll talk about Raw tomorrow right here at 1TS Daily. We'll review the show and all the other news that hits. So be here tomorrow in order to do that. But we'll put a bow on it there. We'll wrap up. If you haven't checked out my work at Brass Ring Media, please do. You can find us on YouTube at Brass Ring Media. Just search Brass Ring Media. You'll find our channel. We are live on that channel, me and my team, all throughout the week with different shows, different perspectives, and just different scopes on just how to do a podcast. So a lot of different different stuff there for you to check out, and I hope that you do. It's at Brass Ring Media. You can also check out Brass Ring Media on Substack. That's where our written word goes, and we've got features and editorials up there. My full rating report with match ratings for Bad Blood will be up, I don't know, before lunchtime today. So you can check it out now. Just search Brass Ring Media in Substack, and you can subscribe there for free, totally free for all that content. And I hope that you do. All right, guys, we'll put a bow on it there. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow right here at 1TS Daily at One True Sport. Have a good one. See ya.